I was always fascinated with the controversy around the name. You know that story? There were groups in the office that didn't like Zombies, Monsters, Robots, ZMR. I think the artistic treatment of that, and I think the name were great. I love Zombies, Monsters, Robots. I think it spoke to the title well. It wasn't the perfect title for that product, but it spoke to it well. It made it fun, and we did a lot with that. Internally, there was a group that hated ZMR and wanted to go with something like Dead State. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why we went ZMR and why the other group got silenced. But it always struck me when I heard it. I was like, why would you ever want Dead State? What the hell does that mean? Like, you tell me zombies, monsters, robots. I know. I got it.
And I think you're keying into the key thing. And once again, I want to be very clear. I was not involved in these conversations.
I like how you extricate yourself. It's like, I'm not held responsible. The opinions are wholly my own.
It's like, I did not have the ability at the time.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I would have loved to have been involved in this. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, but I was just too junior. I had not gotten my marketing chops to the point where I could have done that effectively. But in hindsight, the reason I admire what we did do is that, like, a title like Dead State, what kind of promise and presentation can you make with players with that kind of title? And how would you position your product relative to that title? Think of the marketing.
I immediately think, okay, so the state of the game is dead. That's what it turns into my head. Like, you're telling me how it's going to be dead upon arrival? Okay.
It's like you call your game Zombies, Monsters, Robots, and you know exactly, like, you know what you're signing up for, right?
It's a shooter. In fact, when you died, you legit had coins that looked like quarters that you would have to consume to play again. It's a shooter. It's a coin-op shooter. Zombies, Monsters, Robots.
And it's like, we're very upfront about that. Do you want to shoot zombies, monsters, and robots? If yes, well, we've got a game for you, right? We're not going to pretend it's something else. We're not going to even give potential players, the opportunity to misinterpret it as something else. We're very clear about what it is. And so that's what I think was good about it, right? As to why ZMR was not ultimately successful, I think Matt Denham spoke to that pretty well in his interview. I don't really feel the need to dive into that. But, I do think that the marketing for the game was good.
What do you think about changing the name of TERA from the Exile, or not changing the name, but dropping the subtitle of the Exiled Realm of Arborea? The argument there being from the writers, there's no such thing as Arborea. TERA is a dream of two titans. We never go to Arborea. We never talk about Arborea. What is an exiled realm? Where was it exiled from? If two titans go to sleep and dream something up, who got exiled? What's the exiled part? Drop it. TERA. What do you think about that?
I agree with it.
If you're thinking high fantasy, TERA, the exiled realm of Arborea, that's high fantasy. And TERA is a high fantasy MMO.
Sure.
But we leaned into action combat. We simplified the name. 4 capital letters, always italicized in copy.
We're not out there. We're not the Lord of the Rings online, right? We're not making an appeal to a high fantasy audience. And certainly a high fantasy audience could come in, and I would argue that there's probably a good overlap between that audience and the people who did enjoy the lore, right? But we're not going to hang our hat on that. And so I agree with that. I remember hearing a story that there was a adult film actress who dominated Google search ranking results for TERA. And when we made the change and streamlined and announced the product as TERA, that we bumped that actress off of Google rankings. And
we worked to bump that actress off of Google rankings.
That's hilarious to me, right? But I remember that conversation and how some members of our team, I can't remember if it was Sam, someone got some shade from this particular actress. It's funny, but I think it was a good decision.
What about mobile title Fruit Attacks or Fruits Attack? I mean, you got to search for this thing. I can't remember if there's an S there or not. Am I in a parallel universe? Was it in one universe it's Fruits Attack and in the other it's Fruit Attacks?
It was Fruit Attacks. And so
your message has got to be clear with the title, right? That was always something I saw people do. I saw people write bugs. I saw people on forums. I heard people say it. Like,
yep. Well, I mean, come on. Like, that's like people calling rogues rouge in World of Warcraft.
And isn't that always a meme that is definitely not down to people not knowing their language? It's always a meme.
Yeah. And so, if you want to get down to just being pedantic about it, right? It's like, well, the plural of fruit is fruit. It's not fruits, And so, it should be Fruit Attacks, not Fruits Attack, or, any variation of fruits, anything, right? I don't know what insight you want from me on this other than like, hey, we had people in the building that said, use English properly, So.
Hey, how cool is it that you found the Guffy Bear YouTube channel? I mean, that's, wow, 1 in a million. Thanks for being here. And if you hit like, subscribe, and comment to one of my videos, my ego really, really explodes. It just inflates. You have that power. That's something that you can do today to make yourself and me feel good.